to Historic Union County for providing this streaming service for the folks at home. So that being said, Cindy, if you would lead us, please.
Let us pray. Our kind and gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, is given unto you. God, thank you, Lord, for the honor and privilege, Lord, we have to call upon your name. God, we thank you, Lord, most of all for salvation. God, we thank you, Lord, for our life, our health, and our strength, and all the goodness and mercy, Lord, that you bestow upon us now this morning life. God, as we go before you tonight, God, we ask you, Lord, to remember the lost, first and foremost, throughout our land. God, I pray, Lord, that we'll be a light and a help and a strength to them some way, Lord. And Lord, we pray, Lord, somewhere along this way, Lord, that they'll be saved before you feel it's turning too late. God, we ask you, Lord, to remember all of the sick, Father, Lord, those that are amongst us tonight, Father, Lord, and those that are scattered abroad, Father, Lord. We ask you, Lord, to touch them, Father, Lord. We know that you've made these bodies, God, and we know that you're able to touch and to heal. God, we ask you, Lord, tonight as we move forward in business, Father, Lord, we ask you, Lord, that it will be done in accordance to your will, that your name will be honored and glorified. God, I ask for blessings upon each one that's represented here, Father, Lord. I ask you, Lord, to bless our county. I ask you, Lord, to help our country, Father, Lord, in the time that we're in. I pray, Lord, for peace. God, I pray for the leaders, Father, Lord, we have, Father, Lord, in power, Father, Lord. We pray, Lord, that you would endow them with knowledge and wisdom and understanding, Father, Lord, that they would lead our great country. God, we love you. We thank you, Lord, for everything. We ask you, Lord, to watch over us tonight. Forgive us, Lord, who we failed to show in thy name's honor and glory. Lead and guide us and direct us. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. Thank you, Sydney. And Commissioner Jones, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
Surely, go ahead. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Jones. And also for the commission, we have 4 commissioners joining us via phone tonight, and that's Commissioner Jody Smith, Jeff Chesney, Bill Cox, and Becky Muncy, and they are here on the phone. So that being said, Pam, if you do a roll call, please.
Jeff Brantley.
Here.
Jeff Chesney.
Here.
Danny Cook.
Here.
Bill Cox.
Here.
Earl Cox.
Here.
Gary England.
Here.
Don Blackford. Here. Kenny Hill.
Here.
Janet Holloway. Here. Sidney Jesse Jr.
Here.
R.L. Jones.
Here.
Deborah Keck. Larry Lay.
Here.
Joyce Meldenberger. Becky Muncy.
Here.
Jody Smith.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, Pam. Number 5, the only announcements I really have is actually 2 changes to the agenda. Number 11, we will strike that from the agenda tonight. Mary Beth Pitts, Register of Deeds, response to Union County audit report. Ms. Pitts called the office today and she's not feeling well and will not be here tonight, so I'll move that to the next month if she chooses to do so. And also number 16A, we are striking from the agenda tonight, and that is the resolution regarding the litter ordinance, and not a resolution, but regarding the litter ordinance, and that committee was not able to meet this month, so they have nothing new to report on. So those 2 will be taken off the agenda, but other than that, I really don't have any other announcements. Does any commissioners have anything? If not, all right, thank you very much. Number 6 is to approve list for public comments. Ms. Ginger, we have no comments. Number 7, it's that time of year again to elect the county commission chairperson. So at this time, I will open up the floor to any nominations.
Make a motion. Jason Blaine.
I have a motion to elect me as the county chairperson. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, I'll take, I heard Mr. R.L. Jones first. So we have a motion and a second. Do we have any other nominations for a commission chair?
Gary England.
Okay, we have a motion for Gary England. Do I hear a second?
I second.
Second by Jeff Brown. Do we have any other nominations for chair? Jeff Chesney. Any other nominations going twice? Any other nominations going a third time? All right, with that being said, we have 2 nominations for county commission chair. So, Ms. Ayler, if you will do a roll call, please.
How about do this?
Each one states your preference for who you vote for.
Okay. Jeff Brantley,
Gary England.
Jeff Chesney,
Ford,
Jeff, are you voting for Gary England for chairperson or me?
I vote for you for chairperson.
Okay. Did you, hold on just a second, did you second the motion for Gary England?
Yes.
Did you make the motion for Gary England?
Yeah, I made the motion for Gary
Okay, but you're voting for me, is that right?
as chairman.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he was confused. I think he meant Gary for five.
You're taking it one at a time.
You need to clarify.
Okay. Jeff, I'm just clarifying here, okay? I asked for motion or nominations for a county chairperson. And did you mean to nominate Gary as the vice chair or chair? I'm just clarifying.
Vice chair.
Okay, vice chair. So, David, how do we need to
He
handle
wants to
that?
ask to withdraw his motion.
Okay, we took that as a motion to elect Gary as the chairperson. So would you like to rescind that motion?
Yes, I would like to rescind that motion.
Okay. All right then.
I'm withdrawing my name from Chairman Schultz.
Okay. So, David, do I need to go back and do any more nominations?
Let the minutes show that he withdrew his nomination.
I rescind the second.
okay. Which one withdrew, Jeff did or Gary did?
That
Jeff withdrew his
Jeff
motion.
Okay,
withdrew his.
Jeff
nomination.
Brantley withdrew his second, and Gary has asked not to be.
okay. Withdraw.
Okay.
Just forget any of that.
Withdraw my. There you go.
No problem. I just want to make sure I do it right. So, David, do I need to back up and ask 3 more times?
I think, well, you can ask if there's any more nominations.
Okay. In advice from the county attorney, let me start over. Are there any other nominations for chairperson other than me? I'm going to do it the right way. Do I hear a second? Do I hear a third? All right. If no other nominations, all in favor to elect me as chairperson by acclamation, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise? All right, motion carried. And thank you all, I appreciate that for your vote of confidence. Now, we are on to number 8, elect the county commission vice chairperson.
I'll make a motion that we elect Commissioner Gary England.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Jesse to elect Gary England as vice chair. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a second from Jeff Brantley. All right, do I have any other nominations for a vice chair? Any other nominations for vice chair going twice? Any other nominations going a third time? All right, all in favor of electing Gary England vice chair by acclamation, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise? All right, motion carried. Congrats, Mr. England.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, moving on. Number 9 is to approve minutes of the August 24th meeting, and I trust that everyone has a copy of those.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, motion to approve by Commissioner Janet Holloway, a second by Kenny Hill. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise? Motion carries. Number 10 is to approve notaries, and we have 4 listed here in your packet. Sonia George, Doug Osborne, Ashley Stayer, and Brenda Sweet.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by R.L. Jones to approve, a second by Commissioner Sidney Jesse. All in favor of electing these folks for notary, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise? Motion carried. All right, number 11 has been taken off the agenda. Now to number 12, the county mayor's report. If you guys would open up your folders, and I will try my best, and folks at home, you should have that emailed to you. So I will do my best to go through this, my paper up here, and I'll try not to leave anything out. So the first thing I want to point out, excuse me, are the upcoming public meetings for October. And I do want to point one out here on the 13th. Our insurance broker is coming up to Union County to do a Medicare planning meeting. And this is obviously for any employee in Union County who is close to retirement, but this is also open to anyone in the county. Let me say that again, anyone in the county who would like to come and be a part of this and get some information, learn a little bit more, ask some questions, you're welcome to do so. So get the word out there, folks, and let them know it'll be at the senior center. It's large enough there to where we can spread out, have plenty of space between us, and again, that is on the 13th, open to anyone at 6 o'clock at night, and we'll have some flyers about that I'll put out on social media as well. So again, if you are on these committees, please make note, make sure that you're there. All right, the mayor's report. I have a lot of grants coming in, folks, which I'm very proud about. The first one here, I do want to mention the home grant, which is in the process right now. We essentially got $500,000 here for Union County. As long as ever all the construction works out on the homes that they're doing right now, we should be able to reapply in 2021. So I believe it was February when we can reapply for this again. You have to have so much of the previous grant spent or completely spent before you can reapply. So if we are able to reapply, then I'm going to reapply for this, because it's $500,000 of free money, folks, to help people here in Union County, so why not? So the Community Development Block Grant, we were awarded the Community Development Block Grant this year, and that was to purchase a new fire engine for Northeast Union Fire Department. With all the remaining funds left over, will go to the other volunteer fire departments. Now, of course, we asked in the grant for, I believe it was $420,000, and we received $253,143. Now, here's the thing, of course, a fire truck is going to cost just about that much, to be quite honest, but we are going to work with East Tennessee Development District to try to find the best bid we can find and get the best truck we can for the best price, and then, of course, what's left over will still go to the fire departments. But again, you shoot for the stars and you get what you get, but we're still very thankful for this, and think about it too. We have a brand new fire truck for the county, and of course they assist each other and help each other out, so I think it's a win for everyone. And I do want to point out too, there were 27 applicants and only 14 awarded grants, and we were ranked number 10 out of 27, so we had a very strong grant application and did very well with that. So that is a grant that we are getting, and we have a resolution tonight for approval of that. Also, the UT Extension Office applied for a farmer's market grant and received $191,000 for a commercial kitchen, coolers, and contactless grocery pickup and delivery through the farmer's market, which we will be able to, with this grant, as long as everything works out, put a commercial, nice, awesome kitchen in the farmer's market for the county to use, and for, of course, UT Extension and different programs that they have. So, of course, we've not worked all the details out on that, but still, it's a very, very large grant, and we're very lucky to get this, in my opinion. Now, I do want to point out, too, that the grants right now, basically between the governor's grant, the CARES grant, tourism, community development block grant, farmers market grant, we have received $1.6 million in grants in just the last couple of months. That's phenomenal, folks, and let me say too, that's $1.6 million that is not coming out of Union County's budget this year. This is coming out of grant funds. So we are getting a lot of things done, but we're also saving a lot of money, and I think that's absolutely amazing. So $1.6 million is amazing for Union County. Very happy about that. The potential grants that we're looking at, we have a grant through the Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation for assistance in some possible sports fields over at the Luttrell Industrial Park. And I know we've talked about this several times. I won't go into great detail, but we have submitted some paperwork, the pre-application, if you will. We're working on that right now, and that grant can go up to $500,000. Now, it is a 50-50 max, so before you think, oh my goodness, we're going to pay $500,000, there are guidelines in the grant that allow us to use our land for in-kind match on this, a lot of different things that we can do. So I'm still going to go after this grant and see what we can get. And again, with any grant, I want to go for it and see what we can get. And you take it as it is and come back to commission and see if it's something we want to do. And so we'll accept it. Another grant coming out is the Tennessee Department of Health. It's called Healthy Active Built Environments. And you can actually apply for this grant in conjunction with another grant to help with the planning and different things. So we're applying for this one as well. So that's another additional $80,000 that we could put toward that project as well. So again, that's one big project lumped together that we're working on. County buildings, update on that. Like I said last time, several capital upgrades that we were planning on coming out of capital this year, out of the Union County budget. We're going to be able to take out of grant funds. And so again, that's going to save us a lot of money. We had a lot of bids going out, thanks to the finance department and the great work they do down there. We've got a bid going out for the new network here at the courthouse, painting what I'm calling the library complex. That's the finance, library, senior center. A bid going out for a lot of updates here in the large courtroom, and also we're looking to do some work on the Wilson Park parking lot up on the hill next to the Veterans Wall. If you look over around the parking spaces there at the playground, there's a lot of holes and different things. And thanks to Mr. David Cox and his department, we're working with them to get some work done up there and then have that resealed and resurfaced. So we're going to have a new parking lot up there at Wilson Park. And the farmers market is going along just great. The hillside that everybody's been asking about, why in the world don't you guys take that hillside down? Well, it's coming down, and we had to wait on AT&T to move a line. And so that line is out of the way, and so they're working on that. And as always, thank you to Danny Cook and Earl Cox. They're down there all the time helping and getting this stuff together, and my hat's off, and we appreciate them. And a couple of attachments that I wanted to share with you guys too. Let's see, the first one is unemployment rates here in Union County, and we went down. We made a huge cut about 2 months ago, and we went up just a little bit now, but it looks like it's about right at 8% unemployment for Union County, around 8 or 9. So just keep everybody updated on that. Also, sales tax comparison from July 19th to July 20th, and Union County, you get to it here. Union County went up 32%. So we've just about every month, we're averaging in the 30s for an increase in sales tax. And especially with COVID and everything going on, I mean, that's great. Our numbers are still going up. So very happy about that. Also, this is this next one here, and I apologize for seeing it on the screen like this. Let's see if I can make it a little bit better. For folks at home watching, commissioners, I know you have it, but a Union County travel snapshot. This is from the tourism department for the state of Tennessee, just to give us some numbers about how Union County, how our budget is affected by tourism, the money that we make, and different things like that. So just kind of an FYI for you guys. Also, UT Extension shared this data with me. This is, let's see, what are we calling this one? I believe it's food insecurities. I want to make sure I say it right. Yes, Union County food insecurity data. And again, this is part of the information that they use with a grant for the farmers market to show food insecurities here in the county. And again, food insecurities is basically families that do not have access to food at all times, just to make it quite simple for you guys. So that is the data for that here in Union County, the percentages. And then the last page you have here, Officer Brett, that does the litter pickups here for the county. He asked that I get this to the commission. This is just, of course, you know, Brett has talked to you guys about the litter ordinance a couple of times. And this is just an article he wanted to share with you guys about county commission and litter ordinances and things like that. So I told him that I would share that with you. So I believe that's all that I have in the mayor's report. So before we move on, do we have any questions or concerns?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
on concerning the litter, I want to follow the ordinance because based off the findings that I talked with CTAS and with Nashville, we don't have the power to issue a litter ordinance because we are not a charter government. And also I talked to Charles Curtis, and he sent me the laws that are currently in place regarding litter, regarding what they call the junkyard law that was passed in 1967. And the county powers got shared with municipalities. And I just got 2 copies tonight, but I would like to put a copy of that in our minutes, that if anybody come back that wanted to see that. But again, based off of what I've been told out in Nashville, we cannot consider what the litter committee is proposing as ordinance because we don't have that capability because we're not a charter government and municipality. So,
Yeah, and we'll add that to the minutes, and I'll make sure I get that to the litter ordinance committee, obviously. And Attorney Myers, you can, of course, we'll get that to you too. You can look at it or whatever. But thank you, Sidney, I appreciate that, and I'll get that to the committee. Anything else before we move on? All right, the next on the agenda is to approve or disapprove county boards and committees. So I do want to point a couple of changes out, not many changes, but just a few. Now, as you look at this, again, I sent this out in a couple of days ahead of time. Well, you got it with your packet. In case there were any commissioners that did not want to be on a committee or whatever, or if you saw any discrepancies here, you could let me know. So I haven't heard from anyone. So as I go through here, I'm just going to point out the changes that were made. Now, keep in mind that I appoint the committees. And then it's up to the committees to appoint the officers within those committees, okay? So if you see any changes that I need to be making on that, let me know. But again, your job here tonight is to appoint the people, the committees appoint their officers. So with that said, I'm gonna try to do 2 lists at once here. The first page here, number 1, there are no changes on this one. Number 2, under the library board, there is 1 change there. The library board had an individual to resign, and so I'm appointing Sydney Jesse into that position, and Sydney has agreed to accept that. So that is the only change on that page. Page 3.
Just put Sidney Jesse Jr.
Yes, sir, so noted. I will add that to my list. Thank you, David. Let's see, number 3. Number 3, Solid Waste Authority. Of course, as we know, Ms. Joyce Melkbarger is out sick at the moment, and Ms. Becky contacted me about this and asked if I would mind to be a member of this board. Of course, I represent every district in the county to represent District 7 because it's supposed to be the county commission and all that. Of course, Becky can't be on it because she is part of solid waste. So I told Becky as long as the commission was okay with that, I would be happy to fill in for that spot, and so that is a change on there too. And I'm so sorry, I talked to her after I got this and sent it out, so again, that is under Solid Waste Authority. That will be, Joyce Melton-Barger will be replaced with me if the commission is okay with that. And then page number 4, no changes on page 4. Page number 5, no changes on page 5. No changes on page 6, and no changes on page 7. So essentially, looks like 2 changes on the boards and committees. So with that being said,
We don't have a second.
Jason,
yes,
this is Jim, on the beer board,
yes, sir.
the changes on that, I'm not the chairman anymore. Vicky is the chairman, and Candace is the secretary.
Okay. Yes, sir. I will note that. Thank you, Jeff. And I apologize, guys. Did you not get a page 7? Okay. Many apologies. Here's page 7. Again, no changes. It's the LEPC board, and I'll go ahead and read those off. Dana Simmerly, myself, Billy Breeden, Andrew Reed, Kathy Chesney, Thomas McCaffrey, and Keith Montgomery. And again, no changes, the same as last year. The Ordinance Review Committee is the same, Kim Bartman, Don Flatford, Janet Holloway, Deborah Keck, Martin Schaefer. And the Planning Commission is the same. If you guys remember, you approved Larry Lay to replace, he replaced Mr. Curtis, that's right. And so that is Dwight Dyer, who's the county planner, R.L. Jones, Harold Brantley, Isaac Collins, Greg Corum, Davey Cox, Sam Dale, Paul Gill, Janet Holloway, Larry Lay, and Melbourne Muncie. So again, I apologize I left that off, but no changes on those 3 committees. So any questions, concerns? If not, I need a motion to accept.
I'll make a motion to accept.
Okay, I'll get a motion from Janet, and somebody on the phone will get Jody.
Jody,
Okay, Jody, I'll take yours as a second. And all in favor of approving this list, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise? All right, motion carried. Thank you, folks. All right, that's good for another year. Now, number 14 is the county sheriff's report. Sheriff Breeden, come on up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome.
This sheriff's report is for August 2020. Total calls for service during that month, we had 737 calls. Total vehicle accidents with injury 12. Total vehicle accidents not injured 20. Total booked into the Union County Jail was 81. Total releases from jail was 102, and our current jail population today is 67.
Wow.
Any questions? Thank you.
All right, thank you, Sheriff. Number 15, Ms. Dyer, monthly finance report.
Good afternoon. You have in your packet the monthly finance reports showing the spending by department heads year-to-date, fiscal year-to-date. And also, we have the director's finance report showing cash with trustee at the end of August and a snapshot of the last 12 months. Any questions about those reports? If not, we'll go on to the budget amendments. Starting with page 1 through page 3, we have Fund 101. Page 1 is moving $3,000 from restricted jail funds into the jail's budget, and the balance of those are just transfers within the elected officials' budget. Page 2, top of the page 2 is the DUI grant. That is this fiscal year 21 grant, putting that $15,000 into the budget. Bottom of page 2 is the senior citizens cares monies. They received a grant for $6,523, putting that into the senior citizens center's budget. And then page 3, top of the page, is the unspent balance of the 3-star grant from last year. And at the bottom of the page, we're putting in the 2018-2019 Homeland Security Grant. All those 3 pages are all related to Fund 101.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner England to approve. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Kenny Hill. Any discussion? If not, roll call.
Jeff Brantley,
Four.
Jeff Chesney,
Four.
Danny Cook, Bill Cox,
Four.
Earl Cox,
Four.
Gary England,
Four.
Don Blackford, Kenny Hill,
Four.
Janet Holloway,
4.
Sidney Jesse Jr., R.L. Jones,
Four.
Deborah Keck,
Yes.
Larry Lay,
Four.
Becky Muncy,
Four.
Jody Smith.
Four.
Motion carries.
On page 415 is Fund 131, the Highway Fund. We are entering into their budget the $275,000 from the Direct Access Grant, and based on the last 5 years' average of the mineral severance tax, increasing that revenue and putting those funds into the highway budget.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Sidney Jesse. Do I have a second? Second by R.L. Jones. Any discussion? If not, roll call.
Jeff Brantley,
Four.
Jeff Chesney,
Four.
Danny Cook, Bill Cox,
Four.
Earl Cox,
Four.
Gary England,
Four.
Don Blackford, Kenny Hill,
Four.
Janet Holloway,
4.
Sidney Jesse Jr.,
Four.
R.L. Jones, Deborah Keck,
Yes.
Larry Lay,
Four.
Becky Muncy,
Four.
Jody Smith.
Four.
Motion carries.
On page 5 of 15, we have the Fund 171, which is the county's capital project fund. Top of the page, we're putting the unspent monies from the ARC grant for the Sharps Chapel sewer project that is near completion. And on the bottom of the page, we're putting in the tourism grant that we're going to be using for the stage, also entering the match, the county's match of $37.50 from fund balance.
Motion approved.
Motion by Larry Lay. Second by Jeff Brantley. Any questions, comments? Roll call.
Jeff Brantley,
Four.
Jeff Chesney,
Four.
Danny Cook, Bill Cox,
Four.
Earl Cox,
Four.
Gary England,
Four.
Don Blackford,
4.
Kenny Hill,
Four.
Janet Holloway,
4.
Sidney Jesse Jr.,
Four.
R.L. Jones,
Four.
Deborah Keck,
Yes.
Larry Lay,
Four.
Becky Muncy,
Four.
Jody Smith.
Four.
Motion carries.
Pages 6 and 7 are Fund 141, the General Purpose School Fund. On page 6, we're adding into their budget the additional final BEP funding and adjusting budget lines as needed. On page 7, we're entering into the budget several different grants from the school, the strategic prevention of prescription drugs, family resource centers, transition school to work grant, and the school resource officers grant, putting those into 141 budget.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Janet Holloway to approve.
Second.
A second by Gary England. Any questions, discussion? If not, roll call.
Jeff Brantley. Jeff Chesney.
Four.
Danny Cook. Bill Cox.
Four.
Earl Cox. Gary England.
Four.
Don Blackford. Kenny Hill.
Four.
Janet Holloway.
4.
Sidney Jesse Jr.
4.
R.L. Jones.
4.
Deborah Keck.
Yes.
Larry Lay.
4.
Becky Muncy. Jody Smith.
4.
Motion carries.
Pages 8 through 14 are all federal programs. Whatever unspent money of the federal awarded funds from last year is considered rollover funds, and this is entering into those programs the rollover funds. Page 8 is Subfund 101, putting an additional $102,658.53 into that budget. Page 9 is Subfund 201, adding to carryover $63,230.17. Page 10 is Title 3 or Subfund 301, adding $38,106.14 into the budget. Page 11 is Subfund 401, adding the carryover $37,151.49 into the budget. Page 12 is Subfund 501, adding $54,383.35 into that budget. Page 13 is Subfund 901, adding $134,792.49 into that budget. And top of page 14 is Subfund 911, adding a carryover of $12,876.23 into that budget. And the bottom of page is just moving monies around within the ESSER grant, which is the COVID-related assistance to the school, just transferring lines within those federal program budgets.
Do we really have to vote on federal money?
Really, all budget amendments are presented to the commission, that you really don't have much say-so over federal monies.
Well, the reason I'm saying that, Ronnie Mincy told me that we could have.
Right. But in order for me to make these changes in the budget, we really don't have to bring transfers to this commission either, but for transparency's benefit, we've always made a policy to bring everything before you. So you have a finger on the pulse of changes in the budget throughout the year.
Make a motion approved.
Okay, motion by Larry Lay, second by Sidney Jesse. Any discussion? If not, roll call.
Jeff Brantley. Jeff Chesney.
4.
Danny Cook. Bill Cox. Earl Cox. Gary England.
Four.
Don Blackford. Kenny Hill.
Four.
Janet Holloway.
4.
Sidney Jesse Jr.
4.
R.L. Jones. Deborah Keck. Larry Lay.
Four.
Becky Muncy. Jody Smith.
4.
Motion carries.
Finally, on page 15 is Fund 177, which is the education capital projects, just moving funding around within that budget to lines needed from lines that were over budgeted.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Earl Jones,
Second.
second by Janet Holloway. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Jeff Brantley. Jeff Chesney.
4.
Danny Cook.
4.
Bill Cox.
4.
Earl Cox.
4.
Gary England.
Four.
John Blackford. Kenny Hill.
Four.
Janet Holloway.
4.
Sidney Jesse Jr.
4.
R.L. Jones. Deborah Keck. Larry Lay.
Four.
Becky Muncy. Jody Smith.
4.
Motion carries.
And finally, on the surplus, we have 3 items identified by the library. We will put that in as a lot of 3 miscellaneous office items, one of which is the Fellows laminator, a Sharp cordless vacuum cleaner, and a Hoover vacuum cleaner, all reported to be unoperable.
Motion approved.
Motion by Gary England to approve, second by Kenny Hill. Any discussion? Roll call on this. Thank you, Ann.
Thank you.
Jeff Brantley. Jeff Chesney.
4.
Danny Cook.
4.
Bill Cox.
4.
Earl Cox.
4.
Gary England.
Four.
Don Blackford. Kenny Hill. Janet Holloway.
4.
Sidney Jesse Jr.
4.
R.L. Jones, Deborah Keck, Larry Lay, Becky Muncy, Jody Smith. Motion carries.
Thank you, Pam. Number 16 is old business, and letter A was taken off regarding the litter ordinance, and letter B is the ordinance regarding the electronic monitoring fund. And I believe Attorney Myers, you have spoken with the judge, and
I
give
spoke
you the
with
floor.
Judge Edmondson about that, and of course, we found out, we got to reading that resolution, there is a 50% match. And I think that was some concern of this commission, he and I discussed that. He says that he doesn't have to have that, but the state came up with that if you want to do it, it's fine with him. If you don't want to do it, it's fine with him, whatever the pleasure of this commission.
Okay, so with that being said, I'll open up the floor for any action on this.
How much does it cost?
We, and I believe it would be 50% per device, is that correct, that that is issued to an inmate?
How much is it?
I think he's looking right now, I'm not exactly sure. Sheriff, do you have any idea?
I have no
No.
idea.
Who monitors them? Do you know?
You have to deal with a company that will.
Oh, county.
I think that's what that is.
So this is, basically, this is all through a third-party deal, is that what it ends up being?
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't think that's something we don't know about. I don't think we ought to get into something we don't know a whole lot about, and if this is gonna cost the county money, and the jail population's down, and the judge, he,
Don't seem like the judge or the sheriff, either one's very interested in it, so.
I mean, it could be beneficial, I just don't know a lot about the electronic monitoring.
The thing about it, we don't have no control. It goes to a third party, and they're gonna monitor it. There's gonna be a
The
disconnect.
third party's the one's gonna make the money.
Yeah. So we're gonna be left holding the ball.
Shouldn't they have come before the jail committee and explained all this before it ever got here?
I mean, it could have, yeah, of course, commission has the final say on it. But I believe, David, correct me if I'm wrong, this came up last year, and I believe that was when the judge was out with, well, he was out for quite a while with an illness, but, again, I guess when it came up last year, Darrell wasn't here, we didn't really research it a lot, but I know that, of course, every device that goes out, we have to pay 50% of, so keep that in mind. But again, I don't know all the details, and David, I don't know.
And I think the way it's working, it comes up annually in September, so.
Okay.
Apparently it will come along again next year.
I know at the time we were overcrowding in jail.
Sure.
That has to take a decision.
And that time will probably come again, I mean, some of this is due to COVID related, I mean, it's kind of an anomaly that the jail is where we're at right now, but that's probably the reason.
well, it's still left up to the judge whether they monitor them or not, isn't it?
Yeah, he would have to order.
He'd have to order it,
For
but
the inmate.
Somebody needs to tell us how much it costs. What's involved with them.
what did Darrell tell you, David?
He says it doesn't matter to him either way. Whatever the pleasure of this commission.
I'm gonna make a motion.
Around us and choosing that, go ahead.
I don't know, Sydney. It's not through my department, I don't know, just to be honest.
I think we need to know like what it costs and how much it costs to monitor it, and who's gonna monitor it, there's a lot of unanswered questions there.
And this is something, I mean, if we, of course, we could get all the info from the judge or whoever, we can bring it back
And look
next
through
week.
it to the next budget year if you want to.
Next year.
I'll make that motion. We'll look at it again next year after the COVID deal maybe is over with and see what it looks like then.
Okay.
Find out more about it.
Find out more about it.
Okay. So we have a motion on the floor by Commissioner England, Commissioner Jesse seconded that. Any other questions or anything?
Is Commissioner England's motion the table?
Until next year, yes, sir. Yes. All right, with that being said, do we need a roll call on this one?
I usually take voice vote on it.
Okay, that's fine. All in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise? All right, folks, we'll look at this again September of next year. All right, number 17, new business, nothing listed. Number 18, we do have an addendum here to approve or disapprove the resolution for the Community Development Block Grant. As I spoke about this before, this is for the purchase of a fire truck for Northeast Union, with any remaining funds going to the other fire departments for turnout gear, whatever they choose to use it for. The county match for this is 11%, which would be $27,846. So the resolution is, you guys got a copy of that, so I'll open up the floor for any motions, discussions. Okay, I've got, Bill Cox, I'll count yours as the motion, and Earl Cox, I'll count you as the second. So before we take a roll call, do we have any questions, concerns? Northeast, I believe they had two deaths. I believe that the way that this happened is when this grant came available, we took it to the Fire Chiefs Association, and they voted on which one would get the new truck. So evidently, they had the oldest truck in the county, so that's the decision. Okay, sure. So, we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? If not, we'll vote on this. So Pam, if you'll do a roll call, please.
Jeff Brantley. Jeff Chesney. Danny Cook. Bill Cox. Earl Cox. Gary England. Don Blackford. Kenny Hill. Janet Holloway. Sidney Jesse Jr. R.L. Jones. Deborah Keck.
Yes.
Larry Lay. Becky Muncy. Jody Smith. Motion carried.
Thank you, folks. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Motion by Sidney Jesse, second by R.L. Jones. All in favor, let me know by saying aye. Have a great night, folks. See you next month. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.